And let's get him in here. Hello,
Hello.
Cav. Hello. Thank you for joining me here today for this cast of Masters Clash. You ready to watch Bang Bush versus Chili Mountain?
Yeah. I'm ready to watch Chili Mountain take on the, I shouldn't say alleged map hackers, right? But it should be good.
You got my eyes going wide. What are we talking about here, Cav? What does that mean? Alleged map hacking? Are we getting a little bit of, we got some of that pepper in there, some of that sauce. We getting a little spicy? What's going on?
I mean, I can't substantiate it. It doesn't mean anything. But someone started a rumor that someone on that team is map hacking. But I don't know if there's any credibility to it. But it's one of those things that, you hear it and you're like, are they?
That's certainly something that players could be put under the microscope for. We've had a couple map hackers in the past. They got suspected for it. Remember, what was it? Valeria Carries You, I want to say, in the CCL scene. Do I have that name correct, Kev?
I believe that was the name of that player, yeah. And then there was I don't know if anyone remembers, there was a high GM player that was not only map hacking, but botting the Div.
Yes.
And fan would go through his replays and be like, you don't make this rotation. He clearly is map hacking.
No, I remember that guy. That guy had the most 1v1 Medivh build ever, took the damage talents, and then would just go fly directly towards people in bird form and just 1v1 them and land every Q. It was insane. Business Goose TV, thank you for the redemption of the Women Want Me Fish Fear Me hat. I'm gonna flash my quick personal camera real quick just so you can confirm that your points are not going to waste, as we see Hogger gonna be first banned by Chili Mountain. But before we get too deeply entrenched in Bang Bush versus Chili Mountain, Cav, you watched series number 1.
Yeah, sadly I did.
I was wondering if you could give me just a short summary before we move into this next series. What was going on there? What happened?
VP Ring is a cool combo, but we had a lot of disruption for it in the form of Stukov swipes, Bunker, and Murder and Haymaker. Because if you stun Zeratul at all, he can't drop VP. So theoretically, if we had never clumped and one of our disruptions had always been outside of the VP, the combo would never have worked. But that didn't work out. We still won every fight, right? We still been basically every fight but the last fight. But someone always got picked off. We always got a little bit split.
It's understandable. It happens. I was telling Crushinator, who co-casted Game 1, Series 1 with us, I was like, man, it just feels like no matter how Masters Clash Academy is finding these engages, Oxygen was managing to win every time, but unfortunately just not quite able to keep that together in the ultra late game, taking the series 1-1 between the two of them. And now here we see Dahaka, Rhaegar, Hanzo picked up on the side of Chili Mountain. These are all fairly standard early game draft characters, not showing too much of either team's strategy before that third ban.
Never clumping isn't particularly easy. No, it is not. In your expert coaching bits, Artanis a great hero or the greatest hero? I mean, last patch, Artanis was the highest win rate bruiser in the whole game. And then he was nerfed. But Artanis in competitive, it is very different. Because Artanis, in a low focus fire environment, just thrives. As long as not everyone's hitting him, it's fine. And the major problem with Artanis in competitive is you can't ever disengage. Disengaging is not a thing. You have to really pick your moment to go in and then stay in no matter how the fight goes. And most competitive players don't like not having the option of, leaving.
Leaving is good, quoth Cav. I'm waiting on a source to confirm that for later. As Tychus, a pretty just evergreen pick on Infernal Shrines right here. No surprises whatsoever. We saw it used last game by Oxygen, last series, although it was into Hogger. I think that if you're not into Diablo Hogger, it's a little bit harder to get that supreme, just obvious, like, oh, I big shut down their enemy frontline value, but still certainly a strong pick overall. Chili Mountain coming in with their last picks. Is that a Flex Imperious? Let's go.
Flex Imperius is arguably the second best percent base damage hero in the game right now. So if someone does this thing where they take Tychus away, you can pick Imperius. The problem is Tychus is really good into Imperius. It blocks. He can interrupt the spear with his grenade, and you can just kill Imperius if Imperius gets CC'd. They will have the cleanse for that. They will have the ancestral for the bounce. They will have potentially Sanct. I assume this is going to be Sanct. I don't think I've seen Masquerade go Judgment in a real game, so. They have a lot of counterplay, but basically this game is now who can keep the Imperius either alive or dead. If Red can keep it, if Chili Mountain can keep their Imperius alive, they should win. And if Bangbush, is that their name?
It is indeed. On our left side of the screen, we have Bangbush. On the right side, we have Chili Mountain. Alrighty, let's swap over to those standings really quick. Let's take a look at those. This is the number 1 seed Chili Mountain facing off against the number 3 seed Bangbush. Chili Mountain with a solid points lead over their competitors and will have a chance to pick some up right here as well. They want to go ahead and give themselves a comfy position in the lead. They're trying to make sure they have first seed going into LAN. Bangbush, on the other hand, wants to make sure that they stay in the top 3. As we talked about a bit before in series number 1, the top 3 teams guaranteed a spot. That is why their names are in yellow right here. They're highlighted. They want to make sure they stay in here as we go into game number 1 of series number 2, Infernal Shrines.
So everyone is curious about that. Currently, 4th place, Granite has 12 points. They have 15 total points that they could currently amass, which means Chili Mountain is already guaranteed top 3 because they are at 27 points. Bangbush, however, has 6 points before they are absolutely guaranteed top 3, and Oxygen currently has 4 to go, which for every map Granite Gaming loses, that number goes down because there's no possibility that Rage Quit Gaming, well, there is. I mean, Rage Quit Gaming also has 15 points remaining, so they could theoretically get to 25 points, which could overtake Oxygen. So 25 points is currently 27 points is currently the cutoff. Okay. And a lot of what happens in the third and fourth matches today will actually have an impact on what those point totals are and when teams know for certain they're in the top 3.
Well, that's going to be interesting for you to help us parse and understand going into the later series of today, as Swamp Grota already being aggressed on by the members of Chili Mountain, and we talk about it a lot. Blaze is a character very susceptible to interference by the enemy team. If they can get in the way of that jet propulsion, if they can land those body blocks, there isn't a lot he can do. Ultralisk just barely not landing the spear onto Bishops right there, as Chili Mountain would have loved to pick up a quick 2 kills in that top lane, but hey, first blood 40 seconds into the game ain't that bad either. You think this is the draft overlay? You are correct about that. Alrighty, let's take a look at the end game. Thank you.
I really wish we would see more ganks on Blaze like that, because if you body block a Blaze, he should die unless his team can rotate to save him. We even saw multiple instances in HGC where Urel Muradin would body block a Blaze to death and kill him with just those 2 heroes. And those are not 2 heroes who think, yes, these do so much damage. I mean, it took 15 seconds to kill him, but who cares? Like, he's gonna die.
Ultralisk in the middle of multiple members of Bangbush right here as a fight is breaking out. Sylvanas almost here, but this is a 5v4 at the moment in favor of Oxygen Esports. Lauber is second to fall. And Chili Mountain now has 3 kills in the first 2 minutes, as well as a 2-0 lead already. What a massive difference so far. Bishop's able to Shadow Wave right on out of there. Ultralisk wanted the spear, not able to find it. 3-0 in just a moment for Chili Mountain.
Did Modchek almost die to biting and eating Sylv there? He almost went under the fort. It was very close, actually. That is something you can do against aggressive Rhaegars, is if you have a mobility tool, bait them to bite on you and then use your mobility tool, and it will follow them all the way to death.
I don't know, Kev, about the reliability of using one of your mobility tools to drag someone into your backline. That sounds kind of far-fetched to me, and I don't think anybody would be able to do that consistently. As we see Swamp Grota and Lauber coming in right here. Oh, Masquerade with the smart positioning to prevent that shadow charge from banging him into the wall. He's going to be A-OK. Full level lead just about secured for Chili Mountain, as both teams now will go to their bruiser camp, take him out, and look for this first objective.
It looks like we're gonna get hards out. Chili Mountain toning it down a little bit as the objective comes up, making sure that the map is the way it's supposed to be. It's an interesting. It might look like, you know, Chili Mountain's ahead because they got those kills. Chili Mountain got those kills, got the camps, and didn't miss much soak while all of that brawling was going on. So wow.
Dahaka tongue into Imperious stab. The damage is just too much. You combine the fact that they've got Burn the Impure, second best percent damage hero in the game, as you said. Bit of a standard Tyrael build right here, looking for that main tank pressure. And I gotta say also, Kev, what's going on? I didn't realize that I was also playing in this game as well to have this redemption pickup right here. What do you think is motivating that?
I don't know why Redemption was picked, but, you know, it is what it is.
Those of you who are unsure, Redemption is the Hanzo auto attack level 1 talent. Perhaps Dino just feels, I know when I'm against a frontline of Diablo Blaze, I feel like I could just hit them all day long and that it's a bunch of free damage. And also, very interestingly, Redemption is the best plus siege damage Hanzo talent, by far. If you are hitting buildings, Redemption is very, very good. As Lauber flanks onto the scene, but Skoog drops like a stone. What was that? Dude, the raw speed at which these kills are coming out from the members of Chili Mountain, I think a lot of that has to do with this Flex Imperious right here. Stab barely connects onto Henning. It felt like the tip of his spear was just barely tucked into Stukov's collar right there. Well done by Ultralisk, as it is now 6 kills to nothing in favor of Chili Mountain. Full level advantage, trying to finish off this mid fort if they can, but they're out of minions. CM gonna back off.
I'm curious if this Redemption, because Infernal Shrines is normally a map where you're very confident you'll be able to get a lot of W's off in fights because the walls are everywhere and there's no, like, fights don't happen in lane. Every place a fight happens, you either already have an advantage or you're near a wall, like one of those two things. So maybe it's just the triple front line. He feels like because he has 3 people sitting in front of him, he'll be able to auto continuously, and that will put pressure on the enemy team and allow his frontliners to position more aggressively because of that pressure.
You know, I just think that the pressure onto the frontline heroes in both series today has been absolutely immense. I feel that all 3 games so far have been dominated particularly by the right side team just going all in on the enemy tanks as Dragon Arrow connects onto Henning. Ultralisk with the deep flank from way deep into that hallway right there sets up the kill onto Henning from the members of Chili Mountain, who now simply will be able to take an unopposed bottom fort right here. I think it's actually a bit of a misplay by Masquerade to swift retribution his teammates rather than those archer minions, which would have increased the DPS significantly more. Regardless, Ultralisk now on the scene, clearing out, trying to do some damage to Swamp Grota, but Bishop's tanking for him for the moment. Ultralisk, I was gonna say Blaze got to be worried a bit, but he uses that bunker, and now Bangbush able to get the response top fort as Lauber almost goes down over there. But Kev, would you agree with my assessment that so far all 3 games have been dominated by right side team just trying to kill left side tanks?
I mean, but a lot of this game's involved a Tychus, so that is sort of a dynamic that happens when you have a Tychus, you try to kill frontline. But also, as level of play improves and backliners position better and more consistently, it gets really hard to kill a backliner. Generally, sometimes the tank is the only target that you can hit. And if tank is the only target you can hit, and they're, you know, in the way of those juicy backliners that you prefer to be killing, you gotta get them out of the way first, whether that's killing them or chunking them and forcing them to disengage.
Indeed, indeed. And I will say also, I just hope that Imperious being picked in MC as the flex. I believe, Cav, you also had Oxygen pick Imperious as flex in CCL. Am I correct about that?
We played Imperious twice so far as a flex in CCL, yes.
Okay. And I'm hoping that this will help it catch on a bit in ladder, as he is a very fun hero to play in DPS, and a little bit of a double whammy right here. If I lock Imperious as DPS, my teammates can't lock him as offlane, as now Lauber is getting aggressed on by members of Chili Mountain. Will drop very low, and it is a judgment, Kev, onto Stukov right there. Sets up the double kill onto multiple members. Sorry, make it a triple kill onto multiple members of Bangbush from Chili Mountain. Make it a quadra kill. Let's go. Now 12 kills to 1 for Chili Mountain. They've got all these goons. See, right here. This Swift Retribution onto Ultralisk is a massive mistake, and if Masquerade simply were to throw these smites on top of his mercenaries, they would shred these structures so much faster with the utilization of that bonus attack speeds from the Swift Retribution, because Swift Ret affects allies. Keep in mind, okay? Smite increases the move and attack speed of allies, and so if you're able to throw that under your... If you position correctly as Tyrael, you could simultaneously give plus attack speed to your archer minions, your ranged characters, and your mercenaries as Masquerade able to jump on out of there. Is that more sword hole shenanigans? No, it's Law and Order this time.
No, he only goes Law and Order. He never picks another talent at 13 on Tyrael. And for anyone who's curious why that matters so much, minions actually do triple damage to structures. So 3 archer minions are already doing as much damage as a Greymane in a lot of cases, 2 structures specifically. So if you increase their attack speed by 40%, you're increasing their damage by 40%. And because they won't move, it's 40% for 4 seconds, because the way Swift Ret works is it happens as long as you're standing on top of it, and then for 2 seconds after you leave it, or it expires. So 4 seconds of 40% increased damage is better. And you put it that way, anyone who, if I said you could have a Greymane hitting buildings 40% faster, you'd be like, that's great, I want that. I'm like, well, you can do that whenever you're playing Tyrael.
Well, it's only 25%, I'm pretty sure, right? From the Swift Retribution? 25% attack speed increase?
45% movement speed.
Yeah, gotcha.
But yeah.
Okay. And now 17 kills to 1 in favor of Chili Mountain, an absolutely dominant game 1 here so far. And so I did the math one time, chat, just to get a little bit more specific on you. I did the math, and 3 archer minions does more damage, just very slightly more, than a human Greymane with Inner Wolf turned on, which is a 50% attack speed increase, keep in mind. The DPS of 3 archer minions is a little more. It's about the same as a human Greymane with Inner Wolf. And so... And we all know how much damage that does, so it's actually crazy, just the amount of raw siege damage you can get right there. And now Lauber jumping in while half health is kind of risky. Lauber taking a lot of damage. That's a double, a triple, and there's the Judgment, the Quadra. I think that may have just been a bit of a desperation play from Lauber at that point.
Did Lauber participate in the that one kill that happened, or is he 007 this game? Because I feel like he's died quite a bit.
Let's take a look at that right there. Lauber is, in fact, 6 deaths. And okay, I don't see the kill participation on here.
So 006.
006.
That's unfortunate. Lauber needed to die one more time for this to be a truly perfect game from Chili Mountain. But other than that, they played pretty well. 10 minutes, 36 seconds, 3-level lead. I think they're going to be happy with that.
Yeah. Oh, the comms. Is that dark matter in the background I hear, Kev?
Yeah, it is dark matter. Dark matter.
Hey, dark matter. With the insane comms, as always communicating with the teammates right there. Let's take a look at that post-game scoreboard in what was a solid game 1 from Chili Mountain right there. Just looking like they had absolute control over every phase of the game. I'm telling y'all, Imperius is a DPS! Pick him as a DPS, please! That is all. Here are the stats.
The funny thing is, Imperius, like, CC is generally split up into Initiation CC and Follow-Up CC. Technically, any Follow-Up CC could theoretically hit if the player just stands still and is bad. Or if they don't see it coming. For instance, if you queue over a wall as Imperius, it's a little bit more reliable. But Imperius has really perfect follow-up CC because it's guaranteed to hit on a stationary target, and then it also does a lot of damage. So, like, when people are playing Imperius as a tank, what might not have been obvious is people were drafting like Brightwing and stuff, and Imperius would actually queue off of Brightwing's Polymorph. So Polymorph was actually the initiation CC, and Imperius was the follow CC. Unless you want to do something like that, you really do need to draft Imperius with some other CC as the initiation CC. And the easiest way to do that is to put him as flex. That's just the easiest way to play Imperius consistently.
I'm wondering, Cav, just as a bit of a thought experiment here, let's say that you wanted to do a 2-man side lane, Imperius plus someone else. Who do you think would make a great pairing, just off the top of your head, for Imperius in that 2-man side lane?
I mean, Brightwing would be good, because you can queue off of Pier. Sylvanas would be good if she goes OA. A 15% slow in a lot of cases is enough to secure Imperious Q. Later game, you have a lot more options. Let's see. Early game, Urel actually could theoretically work, but you generally don't want to have double melee. So I'm trying to look at what range or what supports.
I like the idea for the Brightwing. She's still able to join the 4-man whenever needed. She's got the Polymorph to set you up for the Spear, the Arcane Flare to follow up on your Spear. It seems like such a natural pairing, which I'm sure you're already aware of, because Brightwing was the primary mechanism through which main tank Imperius worked, was secretly because of the Brightwing. I'm
kind of wondering if Lily's slow would be enough. Because Lily, of course, had a slow added to her E at some point. And Lily Imperius as a 2-man side lane in like a double support camp would be pretty interesting.
Okay, it's a 15% slow for 1.5 seconds, so the same amount as Overwhelming Affliction. But that might be necessary to secure picks in some situations, as let's take a look at the map situation right here. Looks like maybe not perfectly updated as to the reality of the situation. Go ahead and ignore the most of that, actually, as this is not accurate. But it is true that we are going to be playing on Battlefield of Eternity for game number 2 of series number 2 here, Bangbush versus Chili Mountain. Bangbush chose the map, Chili Mountain getting first pick.
Cascon's suggestion from chat is actually really good. Spine Launcher Stukov. Spine Launcher Stukov is a ranged hero because he has a ranged auto, and his ranged auto also slows. And I'll add one more that I was looking at is Lunara. Lunara also has a slow that's good enough to secure Imperious Q.
You know what? I want to try this, Chad, okay? We need to run some side lane, imp plus something else. See whatever we can go for with that. I think that'll be pretty big. That has potential to terrorize Storm League. Any kind of non-standard lane setup, just absolutely bully Storm League. They have no idea how to handle it whatsoever. Blaze gonna be banned away for Chili Mountain first and foremost.
For anyone who's curious, it was very standard when double support was meta to have one of the supports just support someone in a side lane full time while the 3-man managed the rest of the map. So you would have stuff like Vala and an Ariel just be in a side lane. They were essentially the off lane, but instead of one person, it was a duo. And then you would have your actual off laner frequently anchor the other lane, and then you would have a support and a tank in the mid lane, and you would just be scaling. Like, as long as that arrangement allowed you to never have to rotate, so you can't get picked on rotates, and allowed you to just constantly clear every lane for free, essentially. So these 2-man side lane arrangements are something that you do to compensate for a weak early game where you don't want to rotate, but you have an insane thing that you get to later on, like whether it's you just can't lose team fights or you have an insane split push comp, something like that.
There are certainly many options available. Lily with Water Dragon slow? That is an interesting idea. I'm actually not quite sure. Just going back to the thing, because I was reading chat right there, I'm actually not sure how big the slow from Water Dragon is, but it is an idea. The problem with Water Dragon tends to be the delay more than anything. It's also just competing with an exceptionally good talent in Jug of 1,000 Cups. But Water Dragon, what's the amount of time that passes between pressing the button and the person actually taking damage? It's got to be like, what, 4 seconds?
It's 2. You have to channel for 2 seconds, and then they're slowed by 70% for 4 seconds. Honestly, Sticky Bomb would be better if you're gonna do that. Something like that. I don't know. Water Dragon generally isn't picked in competitive just because the delay is too reactable for that exact reason. But it in double support, sometimes you can use it as a pick tool against specifically immobile heroes. Like if you're ganking a Kael'thas, it'll be fine. If you're ganking a Genji or anyone with any mobility, like it's never going to work in competitive. So
indeed, it makes perfect sense. So many different options. Anything that's on a big delay, you have to think about it from a perspective of like, okay, I have to keep them within range for a long time, and if they have any mobility or stasis, then I'm screwed. That's basically how it ends up working out, as Urel and Anduin picked up for the members of Chili Mountain. So far, fairly normal stuff as always. Nothing too spicy. We always love to see the Urels picked up right here. Cav, I'm curious, Who do you think? Do you think that Wubby is the best URL right now? I don't remember who you had on your list. How would you say he stacks up to the competition in his current form?
I mean, Wubby still does stuff on URL. He runs it down harder than anyone else and manages to live, which is kind of
the point of the character.
Yeah, it's literally the point of the character. If you could, the harder you run it down in URL without dying, the more successful you'll be. So therefore, the best URL is always going to be the one that runs it down the hardest. I believe he is the person I have on my was my vote for greatest of all time and current. Because I've seen a little, and if it's not, I should maybe change it because I've seen a little bit more of it now, and his URL is spooky. Still
already. I am opening up that spreadsheet right now just because I'm curious more than anything, and I'm looking in URL. All three of you, Cav, Gunner, and Cascon, voted Wubby for both best all-time and best right now URL, so that about settles it. As we see Rexar picked up from Swamp Grota, I think if you're talking about a Rexar in Battlefield of Eternity, you gotta be talking about a Flare pickup at level 1, right, Cav? Get some of that vision control?
Flare is actually, thankfully, finally, at least on some maps, become meta for Rexar. Especially, we've seen it several times in CCL, in 4-man Rexar, especially if it's like anchoring bottom on Dragonshire, it gives you complete control of Try. You just throw a Flare in the middle and you can see all 3 bushes. So I wouldn't be unsurprised to see Flare picked up from Swamp here on Battlefield of Eternity. I'm a little bit surprised by the Joe. They have a lot of wave clear on a map where you don't really need a lot of wave clear, and they are hard outraced at the moment. Basically, Bangbush has put themselves in a position where they have to win every fight or they will lose every immortal.
Yeah, the race potential with that Gleaming Hanzo, of course, those serrated arrows going to contribute a lot of damage as well. I'm always just excited to see the Rexar, though. That vision control play is such an exciting aspect of the character that I think is going to be really, really big right here. And I'm actually coaching an offlane player. Specifically, we're talking about Rexar right now, so I'm hoping to see some good footage for them as well. That's going to be some good stuff here. But I do tend to agree. I think Chili Mountain, not only Chili Mountain, I think just after that game 1, they've got the momentum in their favor. They have the knowledge and confidence and skills that come with being number 1 in the league at the moment. But their draft also just looks solid. I think that this is going to be a tough task, not an impossible one, but a tough task for the members of Bangbush as we go in here to game number 2 on Battlefield of Eternity. For the members of Bangbush here on the left side, we have Swamp Grota going to be playing that Rexar. Lauber on Johanna. Skoog playing Genji, he sprays really quick outside the base. And Henning on Rehgar, Bishops on Sylvanas. Who do we have for the members of Chili Mountain, Cav?
On the right-hand side of the map, we have Dino on Hanzo, Modcheck on Anduin, Masquerade playing up that Muradin, Ultralisk on Li Ming, and a Quaza on that URL.
Both teams cycling over to the mid lane, trying to secure vision of each other as well as they can. Masquerade will be spotted as the early game scuffles start quickly. Masquerade gonna hop right on out of there. He does not want it. He's leaving immediately. Dino trying to see if he could find some simple geometry stacks, but does not.
Is anyone gonna go bottom? Okay, Bangbush finally heading bottom. I was curious if they were just gonna brawl mid all game. That is an option. That's something we have seen, before. It's not ideal, but it's something that can happen. And it is gonna be 3-bot with Genji sort of hovering mid, interfering with his rotations. This is a really good thing for a roaming hero to do. Stay mid on Battlefield of Eternity, so you can always go either top or bottom depending on what's overextending, what's winning, what's losing. And you can sort of even out the lane pressure in any given case for what the enemy team is doing.
Yeah, as a roam hero, you are most threatening when you are off the map, not when you are in the middle of everything. You want to just be in such a position that when you are not seen, you are simultaneously causing both lanes on the enemy team to have to respect your positioning and leave, as Genji now helping top lane secure that first siege camp of the game alongside Swamp Grota. We do not see a similar response from Chili Mountain. Chili Mountain not taking the bottom siege here. They are, though. Dino heard me. He popped that natural agility, jumped over the wall, and got started. Chili Mountain acutely aware of the fact that they have a 3-on-4 here, and I think with Henning biting that wave, that fully signifies the lack of a plan to contest from Bangbush. Each team content to just trade out this first objective.
Yeah, trading out camps is something that's really important to do on BOE. If you get... Wow.
Okay, first blood in favor of Chili Mountain. Quickly popping that Sylvanas right there in the 4-on-3. I thought that the members of Bangbush would play safer, but
yeah,
no.
Your Genji's top at winning a 2v1. You're in a 4v3. There's no reason to do anything aggressive. So did you get caught playing passively? Like that should be impossible, right? It should be impossible for someone to die while playing passively in a 4v3 situation. So I don't really know what Bishops was doing there, but he got popped.
Maybe it was just a stellar play from one of the members of Chili Mountain. That is what I choose to believe. As let's take a look at those talents right here. This is in fact not a flare pickup. This is a bird of prey, giving Swamp Grota some wave clear rather than some vision control. And I'm no offlane expert. I personally disagree with this decision, as we see the gank onto Misha in the top lane. Masquerade picking up a quarter of a kill for his teammates. A bit of a response of push pressure in the bot lane from Bangbush.
That might not seem like it matters, and on other maps it wouldn't matter as much, but the reality is the XP economy, for lack of a better term, on BOE is very strict. There's only 2 lanes worth of experience. Each team gets the same amount of experience from the Mortal. They just get it at different stages. The winning team gets the experience right away, and the losing team gets part of the experience right away based on how much the shield took away, and then the rest when the Mortal dies. So it's really hard to make up even a small experience gap on BOE without getting actual kills, and even partial kills can add up.
Taking out Misha, also just some of that psychological damage as you torment a Rexar, who is bonded very closely with his animals. Of course, this does not actually impact the kit at all, as we see Skoog onto Mod Check will get dropped by Dino. It is a 1-for-1 between these two teams. Dino now backing up from Lawbrer. Will Ironskin to avoid the lethal, potentially, Arcane Orb. And now still 1-for-1 between these two teams, but a massive lead in the race for the members of Chili Mountain. You spoke before about how Bangbush, if they don't outright win every team fight, then they outright lose every objective, and we're seeing that represented right here, right now.
Yeah, and they're not even going to contest it because Henning had to back for mana, so they're just going to try to get as much race as they can, which is going to be interfered with by Dequaza. And this is why it's really risky. It's such a huge risk to draft no race on Battlefield of Eternity, because it's not enough to even go even in fights. You have to definitively win them.
Getting popped, dived by Bangbush, will go down, but Lauber finds himself very deep. In the meantime, it's yet another 1-for-1 between these two teams. Skoog running right on out of there, but Dequaza chasing down Henning. Dequaza said, "Oh, you have an instant mount? So do I. Alrighty, I'm gonna run you down." 2-for-1 in favor of Chili Mountain right there. Out of the sudden fight, able to pick up the first kill on the side of Bangbush, but after that, those revenge kills, the mobility of Chili Mountain to chase down Bangbush across that distance can't be understated. Hanzo able to jump over walls, Murden able to jump over walls, Urel able to jump over walls, Rexar able to die off screen. There's so much potential here, and now Chili Mountain pushing out onto this first top fort with objective number 1 of the game.
Chili Mountain, demonstrating why they're the #1 team, right? Dino gonna jump over the wall. Genji tries to follow, but Genji will actually end up going to his own death. Yep, and then it's gonna be resets, and resets mean Ming can potentially do more. She's a little low on mana. 57 health. Henning is tapped. No, there's no way. He's 100% done.
Alrighty, Henning himself finding him in the middle of multiple members of CM. Dequaza now trying to jump out of here, will get the jump partially interrupted, able to go through with most of it. Now gonna hearth back onto base, needs a bit more mana before they continue this fight. Chili Mountain now trying to secure 10 advantage. Savant Grota actually getting started with this siege camp, and Masquerade seeing this is going to stick around rather than full hearth right here. Lomber taking a full scatter, completing the simple geometry for Dino 6 minutes into this game, and the pressure is huge, but this is going to be a siege camp capture for the members of Bangbush.
7 kills to 2, remarkably even in experience, only half a level down currently for Bangbush. They will be able to get 10 for the Immortal phase no matter what happens, pretty much. They may end up having to give this fort just because with the 10 advantage, Ming can just stand there in orbit and you don't really want to look for anything, potentially give any additional kills into the disadvantage. of the heroics. But Blauer actually gonna step up, clear the wave. They're not focusing on the fort. They're actually focusing on the wave and looking for kills. They could just kill the fort. There we go. With the Urel coming in, they are finally going to focus on the fort and try to fight past. They may get another Misha kill. Masquerade goes for it, but then realizes it's a bad idea. Gets pulled out and actually ends up dying because of the pull. He pulled him into a 2-man X-Strike.
Alrighty. A double kill for the members of Bang Bush. That's exactly what they wanted. Make it a triple kill. Urel, I believe, actually made it to the tap. Tap is on cooldown, so Urel, unfortunate, put their tap on full cooldown, but will still get dropped as part of their triple kill. Bang Bush getting those kills exactly when we need them. And hey, we said they needed to win fights to win race. Well, they won the fight, so they're winning the race. Now, Oxygen. Sorry, I always think the right side is Oxygen. You know, it's just, it corrodes my mind. Chili Mountain losing the race so far. I'm not sure if
that's a chirality joke or something.
I have literally no idea what word you just said. You might as well. I don't even believe in chiropractic. All right, Cav. As we see both teams exchanging bruiser camps right here, getting ready to pressure. This is going to be a gank on the bot side from CM. Will not find anything. And CM fully invested into defending their immortal. Skoog on the side lane in a little bit of a dance with Dino, trying to get some damage trading in if possible. Deflect, not going to block the scatter damage. Lobber forced to use the Iron Skin to block the Arcane Orb. And now CM is on the retreat. Light Bomb trying to buy time for Masquerade, but X marks the spot as he goes down. He will not be able to make it out of there. Dequaza going to get yanked out by Modcheck. Will survive. And that's an arrow onto Misha. Hey! Worth. Wow. All right. Arrow for Misha.
They actually cleansed the Misha. I don't know if you need to use cleanse on Misha ever. I'm just saying.
I'm trying to think. You gotta cleanse Misha so that way she can be unstoppable, so she can interrupt Mosh Pit. All right, Kev.
Genius. Okay. We found one time it is okay to give Misha a hard time. Jesus.
Now Chili Mountain pressuring out bot lane with this siege camp, and they're going to go ahead and defend against this immortal from Bang Bush. Slight experience lead being enjoyed by Bang Bush, roughly a half level. As we see now, they're actually pressuring onto bottom fort. They say, hey, we're going to let Immortal get that top side. We're going to utilize our Sylvanas and open up the map down here. This, of course, means that Immortal will not take the full top fort, but full bot fort is what the members of Bang Bush would like to achieve. However, CM here on the rotation, the beautifully timed CC chain onto the Johanna, but it is, of course, a Johanna. Light Bomb coming out. Anduin getting the pressure in the backline, trying to make it on out of there. X-Strike almost catching him. He desperate prayers himself. He's going to be okay. Skoog now after trying to reach for that kill, but no, you reach, I teach, will go down. Not going to get out of there, and it is a kill for CM. Ultralisk?
Of course, Ultralisk has DC'd, as is tradition. I don't know if Ultralisk has made it through a game without DCing this season. They don't even pause it, though. They don't even care. It's like, the bot is good enough. It's basically the same thing.
They say we get enough practice with Ultralisk bots that we know what to do. But no, I remember, I want to say it was yesterday when there was a long, unexplained pause during casting by Ultralisk. And I asked the chat about it. I'm like, it's been several minutes, and there's been no explanation in the chat. I don't know what's going on. And my chat quickly informed me that Masquerade Wi-Fi is generally understood to be bad, and that everyone knew exactly what was going on as soon as the pause hit. So I was the only one left in the dark right there. Now, the members of Bang Bush clearing out bot lane, CM able to secure that top siege capture, and both teams quite even overall in terms of XP, structure situation. This camp going to be a nice advantage for CM, though. Oh, Blessed Shield not connecting.
Yeah, that was ambitious to throw the Blessed Shield at the farthest target. No DPS. Well, Genji can always reach, but I don't think Syl could have reached that, even if it did hit. But it was on a fragile target, so maybe Genji would have been enough, but now it's on cooldown for 45 seconds, relatively short cooldown. They should be able to transition into defending the Immortal and then pushing out as they have that cooldown available again. Oh, they actually got the jump, but Masquerade's going to be fine. Not quite enough damage in range.
Dequaza going to receive that light bomb from Modcheck. He is perfectly fine here. as both teams now going up on each other's immortals. Remember, Chili Mountain with the much stronger immortal race, as we now see Bangbush stepping off of the offense, favoring the decision to defend and go for the full fight instead. Masquerade, Leap of Faith, right on out of there. Wailing Arrow did come out from Sylvanas. Arcane Orb hitting the immortal, not looking even for the PvP damage. And now CM going to back off and tap, as they have an extremely healthy lead in the immortal race.
We're trapping in the bottom right bush. We're trying to look for the wrap around, but Masquerade sniffs it out in that bush. And again, another Blessed Shield missing. Without that engage tool. Oh, that hurt.
Massive arrow coming out from Dino onto, I want to say, 4 different bodies. I'm not quite sure about members of Bangbush because Misha is, of course, in there. Lauber trying to escape. Sylvanas will go down right at the top of the screen. Johanna is next. It's a double kill for Chili Mountain. And Chili Mountain utilizing this extreme race damage that they have with the Li Ming, with the Hanzo, going to be able to finish this off with an almost 100% health immortal. This immortal will, of course, go bot lane. CM, oh, they tried to get it, but not able to steal the Bruiser Camp in addition to their immortals. Oh well, they're still very happy with their situation overall. Going to go ahead and push onto this bottom fort.
That might honestly end up being a keep. You don't normally think a level 16 immortal, like 13-minute immortal, can get a keep, but this is going to be a full shield immortal. And that's the other downside of not having that race. Not only do you lose the immortal has the massive shield, which means it stays ranged until the shield goes away, but then you not having race means you kill it very, very slowly. So just
Blessed Shield coming out from Lauber right here under the backline of CM, lands onto Li Ming, and Anduin will find the Li Ming kill at the moment. The dive continues. It's actually 2 members. Meriden will go down next. The revenge kills from Bangbush coming in at the perfect time for this defense, landing the triple kill. They've still got a very healthy immortal that they need to chip down, though. This will get significant damage onto their top keep, but cutting short any aspirations by Chili Mountain of taking out their bottom keep. Bangbush, they need a couple more of those big team fight wins, but it's still anybody's game.
And you can see how much damage that did, even with the 3-man defense, and a 3-man kill, and then 5-man D'ing the immortal. It got half of the keep. If Chili Mountain had just played a little slower, a little more patiently, hadn't given Bangbush that opportunity to engage onto them, they definitely would have gotten that keep. But now they're going to get the top fort using that Siltrate. Everyone will manage to run away. They won't get any additional kills. But you could argue at this point in the game that Bangbush is actually slightly ahead because their team fight is scaling a little bit better. And it's possible that, as long as they get their lane shoved out, they get the camps, they'll actually be in a better position lane-wise.
And now with these situations right here, Bangbush would love to scale into some strong late game team fight. The burst pressure is certainly evident if they can ever manage to find those picks. It feels like it's honestly come down to just the ability of Lauber to land these blessed shields. Lauber kind of scampering around a bit, looking for vision control, launched a few hopeful blessed shields that did not quite land during the objective fight, but didn't have that same problem on the base defense right there when the members of Chili Mountain started to narrow themselves down a bit into that field and started to clump up a bit, allowing for a timely blessed shield. The members of Bangbush already fully completing their Bruiser Camp, simply waiting to capture it. Chili Mountain going to do something similar, and that's an arrow coming out onto this fight right here. Thanks for pointing us in the right direction, Dino. Neither team losing any members just quite yet, just some abilities exchanged, but I gotta say, Cav, if you're Yrel, you hate to drop that 2-minute cooldown on Ardent Defender.
Yeah, that was a peeling arrow. They found the Yrel. Yrel managed to get Ardent off, and the arrow essentially allowed Yrel to live despite that, because that was almost just a straight-up 5v1. Nice 2-man Misha stun actually coming out of here. Misha will live. They're not going to be able to farm the bear for a reset. And this is defensive positions. This is the ideal position for Bangbush because they don't want to race, they want to fight, whereas Chili Mountain really wants to race and doesn't necessarily want to fight. Again, a nice reset on Misha there. It's going to help them catch up a little bit in experience, but not going to quite change any breakpoints.
Lauber coming in right here. Lauber does not have Blessed Shield just quite yet. Still is on cooldown for just a few moments longer. The members of Chili Mountain now running away. Lauber has that Bless, but they are too far gone. Earth Grasp Totem. You can see the pings. So many coming out right there. Everything landing onto Hanzo. Dino being taken down. Modcheck is up next. It's a double kill for Bangbush.
And here's the question they have to answer right now: is are those death timers long enough that they can get a keep, or should they just go race? Because it is, strong either way. They do decide that they're going to have their offlaner back to clear out top, which is currently hitting the keep wall, and they're going to at least get halftime off of those kills. And this is the point in the game where this comp works a lot better, because the cooldown of Blessed Shield and death timers become very similar. So that means every time someone, is dead, the Blessed Shield will be back up when they're alive, and you can kill them again.
Longer death timers certainly make the ability to fish for those cooldowns just easier and easier as the game goes on. Now the members of Bangbush going to be able to take, I believe, their first Immortal of the game. Actually, their second. They had one that pushed top for it while they pushed bottom for it. Able to secure yet another one. This one extremely healthy and level 20 advantage also going to be on the table for Bangbush right here. Bangbush would love to pressure with this. They're going to go ahead and prepare the minion wave to make sure that they've got a nice minion wave pushing with this level 20 push that has a decent chance of ending the game if Bangbush can just pick up a few kills.
You can see Rel is on the edge here, just making sure that they don't get flanked or potentially looking to punish someone. Dekwaza is not going to go bottom to get 20, by the way. They are like 4 or 5 waves away from 20. They will have 2 waves pushing in top here. They are opting to 5-man defend this rather than catch up on that experience. And I'm curious if they're just going to look for the defense, if they're just going to play defensively. It looks like they're playing defensively. Urel knocks away. They're seeing the Ming orbs be focused pretty much on the wave and the Immortal. Dekwas is trying to get that wave cleared so the Ming damage can do a lot. And of course, we're going to see Bangbush go all in, looking for kills. Sko is going to kidney his way out. Nope, he's dead. And that ends up being a 1-for-1 trade. They were pretty much guaranteed to lose the key, but I think Chili Mountain has now helped us.
Alrighty, Chili Mountain now trying to defend here in this 4-on-4 situation. Masquerade hitting that rewind, tries to land the double stun. Lauber will receive the ancestral healing, and at this point, Bangbush just trying to get any damage onto the core of Chili Mountain that they can. Lauber playing interference, Dino and Ultralisk both dropping very low as they attempt to defend, but at this point, it's just too much. Li Ming going down, Henning will join them, and that is going to be game number 1. Game number 2 of Bangbush versus Chili Mountain, going over to the side of Chili Mountain, completing the sweep.
I believe that is the first map Chili Mountain has dropped in the entirety of Masters Clash. They were 18-0, and now they are 19-1.
I just realized, I just said sweep. I'm sorry, guys. That was my fault right there. That is a 1-for-1 being evened up by the members of Bangbush. I got distracted with something else that was happening at the same time right there, chat. Please forgive me for that one. But we have that post-game scoreboard being picked up right here. Let's take a look at what we have going into this draft. And I found this Sylve build to be particularly unorthodox. What we have here with the Might of the Banshee Queen, the Festering Wounds, and the Remorseless, and the Evasive Fire, nearly every decision on here has me wondering what exactly was going on with bishops.
That's a Wailing Arrow build.
Okay.
So for anyone who doesn't know the way Sylve works, Sylve's trait, you need to have 3 stacks of her trait on a target in order to do 25% additional damage to them. It's basically not worth pushing your buttons unless that is the case. However, the only way to get your trait onto a target normally is to auto attack them 3 times, which from 0 takes 1.2 seconds, because you have the initial base auto, and then 0.6 seconds later you have the second auto, and then you have the third auto, another 6. But the problem is that means that Sylve can't do spread damage, and Sylvanas really can't ever target switch. So what that level 7 does, Festering Wounds, is it causes your E to instantly cause everything hit by it to have their 3 stacks. So if you E into Q into R, you will have a massive damage bonus on the targets that are traded, but then Might of the Banshee Queen will also give you a spell power boost, and then your arrow becomes a nuke. Your arrow does significantly more damage to a large spread of people. And Remorseless does something very similar, where once you are hitting someone who is traded, it causes arrows to shoot out that also put your trait on more people. So you're really just looking for blow up with that specific build off of Arrow. You can make an argument that it doesn't require Might of the Banshee Queen at 1. you can make an argument that it doesn't require both Remorseless and Festering, so you don't necessarily need both of those. But if you can nail it, if you can get those 3-man, and we saw 3-man arrows that game where everyone had Sill's trade on them because of E7. If you can do that, then it's a really good blow-up style.